excited. Can you tell I'm excited? Months ago, I pre-ordered the special edition of ONYX Storm. Like the minute that I could, my book club and I pre-ordered it. What the hell is the point of the pre-order if Amazon's gonna tell me the day of, oh, sorry, it's delayed? No, in a panic, I went to Barnes and Noble's earlier tonight so that I could get ONYX Storm.
Guys, we're at Barnes. I'm trying to get ONYX Storm because Amazon failed me and my order's incoming tomorrow. I have to read, I have to.
We're gonna worry about that later. I'll return one of the copies, but oh my God. I can't believe this is in my hands right now. I feel like I've been waiting forever for it and finally it is here. My sister actually went to the midnight release party last night. She made me stay up on the phone with her while she went to one down in Virginia. She had such a good time. She got the book earlier than me. I feel like every one of my friends got it earlier than me. I had to work late tonight. I had to get dinner for myself and then I went to Barnes and Noble's and I was like, I have to get it. And funny enough, the woman in front of me in line was buying it too and asking about return options, which I think was hilarious. While I was waiting, Rebecca Yarros posted a Spotify playlist of the songs most likely relate to ONYX Storm. Can I just say that I'm scared? The fact that You're Losing Me by Taylor Swift is on there. The fact that We Go Down Together by Dove Cameron is on there. Ah! Never have I ever read ONYX Storm. The serotonin I'm gonna get from saying I'm reading this on Goodreads. First of all, she's skinty. Did you guys notice that? It's a lot skinnier than Iron Flame. Want to check how many pages? I'm scared to see something at the end. Oh my God, it starts off with everyone's dragon and signet. Did they have that last book? This always scares me. The following text has been faithfully transcribed by Navarian into the modern language by Jesinia Neilwork, curator of the Scribe Quadrant at Basgiath War College. All events are true, and names have been preserved to honor the courage of those fallen. May their souls be commended to Malik. Everyone wonders if at the end of this, everyone's gonna be dead. Oh my God, she's following him. At the end of Iron Flame, Xaden goes and talks to Jack Barlow about like how to cure himself in the dungeons. This wasn't revealed. Violet followed him. The end of the prologue is Violet calling for Imogene because she wants to erase Jack's memory. But I think the reason that Rebecca Yarros skipped that whole scene is because Imogene took something away from Violet too. That's just my theory. I'm already sad. Chapter 1 starts off with I will not die today is crossed out and it says I will save him. Violet Sorrengail's personal addendum to the Book of Brethren. That's my girl. Oh my God. Imogene goes to Violet like, we've been talking about your sleeping arrangements, meaning her and like Bodhi and Garrett because they know. And she goes, I've decided you can all go fuck yourselves. I'm not running from him. Even in the moments he's lost control, he's never hurt me and he never will. Damn right he won't. I love them. I love them so much. I think I read this part where Venom is already inside and they're going to fight it. Oh, I'm so excited because I know that Violet and Xaden haven't had a moment together and I think they're finally about to see each other. I love how Rebecca Yarros described him using his powers. His eyes flare in confusion for all of a millisecond before shadows explode around us, immediately devouring every speck of light in a sea of endless black. I instantly recognize his home. A band of darkness wraps around my hips and yanks me backwards, then brushes my cheek gently, steadying my galloping heart and quieting my power. Screams fill the chamber, followed by a pair of thuds, and I know without a doubt any threat to my life has been extinguished. I don't know, it just reminds me of Reese from Akatar a lot, and so happy. And at the end he goes, tell me something, Violence, why is it always you? I love him. Wait, what does that mean? Oh my God. Sometimes I worry about Violet. She has your sharp wit, quick mind, and steadfast heart paired with my bullheaded tenacity. When she finally and truly gives that heart, I fear it will overrule the other gifts you've given her and logic will cede its voice to love. And if her two first liaisons are any indication of what we might expect, God's help or my love, I'm afraid our daughter has atrocious taste in men. Who are the first two? Is Dane one of them? No, please, I don't want like another, like I don't want an ex coming back. I don't want a love triangle. I can't handle that. I'm sorry. This is so unhinged, but this is my love language. I spot the closed book on my nightstand, my page marked by one of Xaden's daggers. The fact that I find that so sweet. I love him though. It is 1 in the morning and I'm so scared. I'm 105 5 pages in. This book is scaring me for so many reasons. Number one, Halden is definitely Violet's ex, and that's gonna cause problems because Xaden has no control over his emotions right now, and I fully believe he's gonna burn him to a crisp. I'm kind of okay with that. Also, I really like the fact that Xaden is now a duke. Something about that just does it for me. And the fact that Violet would be a duchess, I kind of love that. Right now, Xaden's really struggling. He actually just slipped again. One thing that makes me really sad is that they can't be intimate anymore because every time that they try to, Xaden is compelled to draw from the earth again. She's really headstrong and she's just like, I'm gonna find a cure, it's gonna be fine. Truly what I think is gonna happen, because they met this silver-haired freak Venom, Theophany or whatever her name is. She basically said, like, you know, you and your boyfriend are going to give in to us, and when you do, I'm gonna be your teacher. Choose me to be your teacher and not that other guy. I will show you how to use your powers because she can wield lightning. And I truly believe that at the end of this, Violet is going to give herself up to the Venom so that she can cure Xaden, because this whole time she keeps saying, like, any possible path. And I think she will go to the Venom. Also, this was a theory that I had seen on TikTok for so long, ever since Liam was seen wielding ice. And it's that all of the rebels have multiple signets. So Garrick has just confirmed that he is also a distance wielder. Xaden has his too, and then Liam had ice, and then I forget what his other one was, but ice was his second one. So it's very common for the rebels to have 2 signets. I feel like there's just so much that we keep learning about the powers, and like, even though we're 3 books into this, like, we keep learning like so much information about the dragons and the development of powers, and it's like so cool. I forgot how much I missed this. Like, I missed Violet and Xaden so much. The writing is really good. It's really fast paced. Every time I think there's like a lull, and 5 seconds later everyone's dead. There's very good distribution of like plot related things, power related things, character development, romance. So we'll pick up reading tomorrow, obviously, but we're 1/5 of the way through. I'm so absolutely exhausted. Worth it. I think I'm the farthest out of all my friends in the book right now, but also like I'm already seeing spoilers. Like, nothing major. I don't know like plot wise what's gonna happen, but just like quotes here and there and stuff, and I'm like, no, please, I don't want to see anything. So I'm trying like as hard as I can to finish it quickly. I still have a full-time job though, so I'm gonna update you guys throughout the day. I'm just really scared, guys. Like, when I know that a book is gonna be emotionally heavy, I'm very resistant to reading it. Even if it ends up being a 5-star book, even if it ends up being amazing and I love it and like it impacts me so much, just that I know that the characters I love are gonna suffer. I'm not somebody who loves heavy books usually. I know the ending's not gonna be great. Like, I've seen this film before and I didn't like the ending. So I'm trying to push past that and just, I don't want the fear of Xaden being Venom to like stop me from enjoying the book. I read a little bit more. Sorry, excuse that stupid on hold music. I've been on hold for like an hour. I'm sorry. When I compared it to Vampire Academy, I didn't realize how serious that Rebecca Yarros was gonna take it. Xaden is a professor. Why does that kind of make me hot? When they keep saying Professor Riorson, I'm like, as if I wasn't already feral for this man. But because he's professor, it's part of the codex that any writer student cannot mess around with the professor, which valid. And their relationship is now over. Violet's like, we've broken up, and Xaden's like, no, we're not. It was a necessary sacrifice, but it sucks. But honestly, I'm kind of eager to see more of Professor Riorson. I saw an update from one of my favorite booktubers and book talkers. Her name is Mariana Moore, and she gave this book 7 stars. I'm petrified, not gonna lie. This is why I love this man. We live by the codex. I try again. Like, basically reminding him that we live by the codex. We can't see each other because you're a teacher. And he goes, I live by you. When have I ever given a fuck about the codex or the code of conduct? He cradles my face and leans down, resting his forehead against mine. I am yours and you are mine, and there's no law or rule in this world or the next that will change that. I don't care if he's evil. I don't care if he's evil. I don't care if he's a professor. I don't care if he's a duke. All those things are a plus in my opinion, because he still says these things about her. You're kidding. I'm giggling and kicking my feet. Oh my god. I hate this love triangle set up so much. But so Violet just got a journal that her dad left her, and in a note it said, first love is irreplaceable. and he has a 6-letter key on the front. Guess who has 6 letters to his name and is Violet's first love? Even Eric was like, it fits. Why would he do that? The parents didn't like him. They literally said, you have atrocious taste in men. But I don't like Holden's importance in her life. Still, they haven't interacted yet, but I'm getting scared. Remember what I said about not wanting this third-party influence? Okay, well, I take it back. I really like jealous Xaden. I think this is good retribution for what happened with Kat. I think it's great. And also, she's still lingering, making comments about when her and Xaden were together. And Violet's just like, okay with that, I guess. I'm not, but Holden is here. And Xaden straight up attacked him because he tried to touch Violet's hair. And afterwards, he literally came to her room, even though they're not supposed to be near each other and everyone's watching them. He was like, did you love him? I need to know now. He was so pissed and I was like, get it. Here's the difference, okay? I am totally fine with jealousy. I don't like when there's actually merit to it. So like, I don't want an entertaining of a love triangle. I don't want her to suddenly consider other options. I really hate love triangles just in general. But if you want to be jealous, but still have the reader know like, this is endgame, but like, they can be a little jealous. Like, I'm okay with that. In fact, I'm having the time of my life right now. Something about him showing up jealous and feral to her room just did it right. I love it so, so much. I've read a little bit more. I am on page, let's see, 174. I literally took a picture of this quote because I was so gagged. Violet's worried that she's gonna like channel too much power and hurt Xaden because she's literally on his chest. He's been a great deal closer when you've wielded, Tyrion reminds me. Nope, not thinking about how he knows that. It's giving, shall I get the wing later? Also, there was this scene where Jack Barlow, basically he's like about to die because he hasn't drained from the earth. And if you stop doing that, you wither away. I'll let you choose. Like you can either take this medal or you can take a cure to die. Like, I'll give you whatever you want, just give me information. What I think is funny is that the vial she gave him to kill himself is orange peel dust. Because if you remember in book 1, Violet found out that Jack is allergic to oranges and poisoned him with orange in his food. Now, what I think is hilarious is that I have a really bad peanut allergy. Yes, I was very severely nerdy as a child. If I become a dragon rider and then on top of that, I become an evil venom, you're telling me that I'm never gonna get rid of this peanut allergy? Are you fucking kidding me? Violet couldn't even kill him with a fucking mountain, and what's gonna take him out is orange dust peel? Also, throughout the book, they've been talking a lot about marriage and about babies, particularly because Xaden is now the Duke of Tyrrendor. And then her and Rhiannon were talking about like, you know, how Melgren probably wants her and Xaden to have kids like as soon as possible because the stronger the rider, like the more likely that their kids will have really, really strong powers too. And I think they're talking about it a lot. And that kind of leads me to believe that like maybe they'll get married, or I don't know if they'll have kids. Rebecca Yarros doesn't mention anything without reason. So I'm wondering if maybe they will get married in this book or maybe the next. Or maybe that's just me being hopeful because I'm such a Xaden and Violet stan. The book is picking up a lot more and I like it a lot better. In the beginning, first I thought this was just me because I didn't do a reread because I was in the midst of Throne of Glass and I absolutely had no more mental bandwidth to do a reread of Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. And in the beginning I was so fucking confused. I was like, what is this place? I'm like, is that a place or a person? I can't tell. Quickly it was just on TikTok and thank God I didn't get spoilers, but other people were saying the same thing. They were like, I did a reread. Who the fuck are all these people? Like, I don't understand who these people are. I feel like Rebecca Yarros was just assuming that we would know who all these people are because we've been devoted to the series. But like, girl, it's been like a year plus since Iron Flame came out. Girl, you're gonna need to give a definition a little bit in the beginning of these books. The information dumping has kind of leveled out. Being so frank, sometimes I just kind of like breeze by. If I don't know somebody, I'm like, you know what? If they're important enough, they'll come around again. And I was right to do so. I'm not like stressing about it if I don't really know somebody because you'll get it eventually. Also, Riddick is so cute in this book, which makes me believe that he's gonna die. If he doesn't die in this book, Rebecca Yarros actually just did an interview today and she said someone you love is not going to make it in book 4. And sadly, I think it is Riddick. He's so cute in this book. He's also the only one who's like completely single, so like it wouldn't devastate a partner if he were to die. He's being so cute because like right now Violet is walking somewhere and she's like, you don't have to like babysit me. And he's like, bad things happen to you like like when we're not together. Like you got tortured, you got attacked. He like really cares about all of his friends, and he's trying so hard to like work on his powers. And he just found out that he can basically freeze water inside an object. Potentially he could freeze water inside a human body. I think it's so cute because like he's trying so hard and he just loves his friends so much that he like really wants all of them to be together. And I think it's going to break their heart because right now none of them know that Xaden is Venom. A few rebels know. She's like so unprepared for how they're gonna react because that's a huge security risk. I think this was a huge thing to not share with them, especially after the last book was all about sharing secrets and making sure that all of them knew about Aricia and the rebellion, and they decided to stick with Violet. I love this. She gets so pissed because they're trying to tell her that she can't pick her squad for this mission, and Markham starts talking and she goes, "You don't speak. Not to me. As far as I'm concerned, you have the credibility of a drunkard and the integrity of a rat." That was hilarious. I'm gonna start saying that. You have the integrity of a rat. See, they're mentioning it again. Riorson holds a seat in the scenarium. He can't just leave. He doesn't even have an heir should tragedy befall. See? Like what? Like why do they keep mentioning that stuff? I love this man. If I give my permission, Holden retorts, "Wrong move, Holden. I asked permission of one person on the continent, and it sure as Amari isn't you." Holden thinks it's the king, and Xaden goes, "Right, because he's the one I defer to." The two of them are just on another playing field. They're just like unparalleled. Riddick is so cute. "I kept the inside thoughts inside," he replies with a flash of a grin as Xaden approaches. Is Mira going to date Kat's cousin? She knees him in the balls immediately for endangering Violet. I love Mira so much. Wait, is she an intrinsic too? Because she can still talk to Tyrion and Darna and no one else can talk to their dragons. I like how in this book he keeps calling her love. He goes, "Aricia is the second most beautiful thing I've ever seen." He hands me the reins, turning those gorgeous gold-flecked onyx eyes into weapons capable of melting the underwear straight off my body as he looks up at me, and my home is the first. He's like so happy because they're finally in a place that has no magic. He doesn't feel compelled to draw energy from the earth. I have made it to 47% of the way through this book. Thank God. When there was no magic and Xaden was all happy, they finally got to be alone together, and I was like so happy for them, and I died. They broke a table. They broke a table and everyone knocked on the door because there was a problem, and everyone was just looking at the table, and he was like, "We broke a table, so what? Get over it." I think it was Riddick who was like, "Wait a minute, is that why they were hauling out an armoire out of her room freshman year?" But then it all went to shit because somebody hurt Violet, and so Xaden drew magic again, killed everyone because they hurt her. The part that I loved, he picked up negotiations for Holden. She goes, "This is my little one. Gonna eat your little one." And it was Andarna with that fucking house cat in her mouth. And every dangerous scene they're in, the commentary from Taryn and Andarna is just so funny to me. I love it every single time. And also, she keeps dropping like Xaden is reading her mind more than usual. Like he says that he's like not trying. Like he's not trying to read her intentions. And I wonder if that's her second signet manifesting. And they even said Xaden's a lot more powerful than he used to be. And people are saying like, oh, you know, he's older, he's like honing his abilities. I think it's from all the time he spent with Violet. I think Violet's basically just amplifying his powers and the powers of everyone around her that she spends a lot of time with. Hi peeps, it's the next night and guess what just arrived? My Amazon order. I'm gonna open it just to see if it's really severely different from my Barnes copy. I don't think it is because I really thought that if I ordered on Amazon I would get the sprayed edges because I did order the deluxe like special edition, but I think it's the same as the one that I got from Barnes. So let me just open it up. Also, I'm pretty sure there are two books in here. One was originally for my sister. I forgot about that and so did she. Yeah, it looks exactly the same. Here's the Amazon copy, here's the Barnes copy, the sprayed edges. Oh, wait, the dragons are upside down. What the hell? Wait, my copy is upside down. Here's the sleeve. The dragons are different directions. Oh my god, that was so weird. The thing was just on upside down. Okay, sure. Now it's the right way. Ooh, this one's so damaged. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm definitely returning this. I might just keep the Barnes copy. Also, the reason that I wasn't annotating was because I didn't know which one I was going to be returning. My plan this year is to reread some series. So I think I want to do a reread because I have 3 copies of Fourth Wing. And it was always my intention to use one of them for annotations, just because like there's so many hints that like you don't even know like ahead of time. But my plan is to hopefully reread Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, and then Onyx Storm and annotate all of them and do a separate video for that. That's gonna be on my other channel, which I'll link down below. It's like my vlog channel where I do some casual reading content. I think right now I'm just really focused on like getting the story right now because I'm foaming at the mouth rabid for this story. I heard that chapter 48 has a great spicy scene and I'm about 20% away from that, so I might be tempted to reach it, but maybe if I'm tired I won't. Darna and Taryn, the way they interact like father and daughter is so funny to me, especially since she's like a teenager with an attitude. Do not lose altitude, Taryn warns her. There is no telling what weaponry arms merchant vessels beneath us. Do you ever tire of your own voice, she questions, soaring a little closer to Sagael. Never, he assures her. Ever since Rebecca Yarrow says that she imagines Taryn with Idris Elba's voice, I just love that. And now all I hear is his voice when I'm reading Taryn's quotes, and it fits so well. I love it. You know what I'm wondering? Because Taryn does not like the Griffins. He thinks they're like beneath him. Taryn is ginormous, right? Like Violet doesn't even reach his ankle. I wonder what the size difference is between a Griffin and a dragon. Oh my god. Dane and Xaden have just been chosen to fight in order to prove that they can have an audience with the Queen of the Isle. Why does Violet go so hard? Priestess goes, I still see us among your potential paths. Should you decide to take it, Dunn will accept you. It is not too late to choose her. I raise my eyebrows at the woman. I choose him. Whether she's talking about Xaden or Taryn, my answer is the same. Damn, I love that. Violet ends up winning her match, and it turns out that she was fighting the Queen of Unbriel. I thought that was such a good twist. During the match, bolt of lightning strikes, and the Queen is like, how did you do that? And she's like, there's no magic here. I can't wield. I think there's a reason that when she's on the Isle, she's the only one that can communicate with Darna and Taryn. Nobody else can. And she's still able to access her power. So I'm wondering if that is a facet of her silver hair, because she saw another girl with the ends of her hair being silver, or if it's a manifestation of her signet. Like, I know they run on magic. I think she draws from the sky, but she said it didn't feel the same. She's like, I felt a snap. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? I cannot believe it. We just met Xaden's mom. She was just on some random isle with a whole other family and husband. Everyone is so protective of him. I love it. Even Sagael, who's ignoring him, she's still thinking about setting this woman on fire, which I love. And Taryn even calls her like birth giver, like not even mom. Violet is so protective of him right now, and I love that for him. My favorite thing is that like they can see Sagael pacing back and forth. Violet goes to Taryn, you should see if she'll hunt with the others, I suggest to Taryn. Feel free to ask, I'll watch. Be sure you're near the water so you can put yourself out when she sets you on fire. He knows his mate, what can I say? I still love that even though she's fighting with him, she still fights for him, and she's still very protective of him. Honestly, like, I don't know what to make of the mom. Like, I really thought she was gonna be revealed in a more like dramatic way. Like, I thought she was gonna be like Venom or something, like, but she's just on a random island with like no color and is trying to feed Xaden like sugar dates. Like, it's so random. Oh my fucking god, so much just happened. I like couldn't put it down. Okay, Xaden's mom knew they were all coming. Like, they all knew that they were coming and this was a setup. So she's like giving them cake and stuff, and she's like, it's your favorite, like I made it for you, blah blah blah. But Garrick's already had like a third of it, and suddenly he passes out. So Xaden's mom's husband poisoned them all to see and test their knowledge. But my girl Violet is so much better than that. Hours before, she had given Talia mint to put in the tea because it was something that she used to give Xaden, so she played on her sentimentality. Violet mixed it with something else, and it was a poison in return. Because at the table, they were being so absolutely awful to them basically begging Xaden to marry someone from their aisle to like secure an alliance. My favorite part though was that they were like, should we draw up the papers? And Ferris goes, what an excellent decision. Shall we go with 3 or 4 years? Lifetime. Anything less is unacceptable. Xaden slides his hand to the back of my neck, and her full name for the papers is Violet Sorrengail, 2 R's. And then Garrett goes, you could hyphenate or combined. Riorson, Sorensen. And then when they were racing to find the antidote, they go to the kitchen to like confront the cook. It's Violet and Riddick. And the cook tries to stab Riddick, and then the knife is inside him, and Violet's like freaking out. But it turns out it only went through his jacket, not his like actual body. My favorite thing is he starts punching the cook, and he's like, I hate sewing. I don't want to sew this jacket. This is the only flight jacket I have. Riddick is so funny. I love him so much. I feel like that was the most chaotic like 10 minutes of my life. But then it made me so sad because Xaden got so upset. Violet goes up to Xaden and goes, look at me. I take hold of his forearm. Xaden's gaze drops to mine and my stomach flips. It's like I'm staring at a stranger dressed up as the man I love. I know by the end of this he's gonna be unrecognizable, but it still hurts. It kind of reminds me of like if you watch the Vampire Diaries, like when all the vampires like turn off their humanity because every single one of them has done it. The analogy for Violet and Xaden is like, I'm on ice. But my girl Violet really came prepared. I love how smart she is. Like she really thought of every scenario, and she even sent Andarna to go and watch over this guy's kids because she knew that they were being sent away to keep them safe. My girl is nothing if not prepared. Oh my God. Okay, I had the fleeting thought that Traeger was gonna die because him and Kat were all having all of these cute moments. They just went to an island and they were told to receive gifts without complaint. Traeger picked the arrow, and it said, time slows to a crawl as he turns toward us with 3 stumbling footsteps. His gaze lurches for Kat, and then he falls to his knees and sway. An arrow protrudes from his heart. He's dead before Riddick and I can catch him. As much as I don't like Kat, she's done a lot of improvement, and they were finally happy. He's been yearning after her for years. Poor Kat. Oh my God, that's so sad. Well, I'm devastated. And on that note, I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm on page 334. The serotonin I get from updating my Goodreads is unmatched. So I'm 63% of the way through the book. I can't read until later tonight, but tell me why. I was going through like the ratings on Goodreads, and I was just thinking about the fact that like, I'm probably gonna rate this 5-star. Like as it stands, I think this is a 5-star book. Not to say that I don't have other 5-star fantasy series like at all. I just read Throne of Glass. That was a 5-star fantasy series. ACOTAR is a 5-star fantasy series for me. That doesn't mean that every book in the series is a 5-star. That means that overall, I think it is such good quality. Rebecca Yarros could do something crazy for me, and that is having me rate every single book 5 stars. I don't think I've done that like for a complete series since I was in high school. Also, because I was on Goodreads, like I wanted to look at the different ratings and things like that. This one just threw me. Kimberly, you're an icon. I'm going to need a year to recover from whatever the fuck that was. Rebecca put her whole Eurussi into this book. I love the internet sometimes. I am so incredibly sleep deprived. I am tucked in nice and cozy to my bed, and we're just gonna read a little bit. Mostly because I know a smut scene is coming up based on what I've seen online, and that's a huge motivator for me, not gonna lie. I'm foaming at the mouth, I'm rabid for it. The closer you get to the end, the harder it is to close the book at like a good spot, because obviously very important things happen, and then suddenly like you have to finish the book, right? But now that I know that there's a smut scene, we can end it on a nice note. Stupid random comedic scenes that like give me life. Drake, who is Kat's cousin, and they were getting all these presents, he got a kitten. Mira's like, give me the cat, because he's trying to look at something, and he goes, her name is Broccoli, not that. Like all indignant. And she was like, why would you name a kitten Broccoli? And he's like, nobody wants broccoli, but you need it. It's like kind of good for you. He's like, it seemed fitting. What the fuck is wrong with these people? I'm gonna feel towards Broccoli the way that I felt about Fleetfoot in Throne of Glass. Like if this cat doesn't make it, I'm gonna be unwell. Finally made it to the smutty scene, and I'm 78% way through. Like, I'm getting sad in advance because I know it's not gonna be a good ending. Riddick asked her and said, between you and me, there has to be a line he has to cross, and that means that he's gone. And she said to him, if he hurts a rider or a civilian, or if he hurts me. That's when she'll know he's gone. And I feel like we're approaching that point. And I'm getting so sad in advance because they just had this moment together and they're finally back in Aricia. And for his birthday, this was so cute. She gave him like a piece of the Riorson roof as like a bracelet. I hope it reminds you of us sitting on the roof and looking over the city. And it just makes me so sad because they were back in Aricia and they were like, we're finally home together. And even Bodhi was like, this is your home. Like, I really thought this book was gonna be the tragedy. I really did. I thought this one was gonna be hard, but Xaden's been such a lover boy in this book, and like Violet's just been so devoted to him and like just steadfast in the fact that she's gonna fix him somehow. It's the next day. Don't know if I'm gonna finish it all right now because I have to go to dinner, but I'm definitely finishing it today. I had an awful thought last night. Xaden keeps calling Violet love. I mean, he called her violence, I think, one time when the Venom were attacking, and then he started calling her love, and I was like, that's really interesting. Like, of course I was swooning. Sadly think that it serves as a reminder to him of what she represents because slowly he's losing a lot of those feelings. I also think that Andarna being left as a tool from her kind, they basically used her as a measurement, a baseline to see and test humanity. And I think it's so sad that Andarna was like looking for a family and they rejected her because of how the humans used her. And I'm like, that's not her fault. And also they abandoned her. Also sad that the Irids didn't have any sort of cure for the Venom. Oh, I kind of matched the book. Haha. I'm wearing black pants and a brown sweatshirt. On theme, I kind of like that. Okay, that's what I did not expect. She's a dream walker. I think there are more applications for this because she was basically having Xaden's dream with him and then explaining it to him, and he was like, I've had that same dream for weeks. And then she realized that she actually stepped into Marin's mind at one point when they were at Samara. And Xaden said that he felt her like meddle a little bit, like kind of changed the dream a little bit. That's kind of cool, but I did not see that coming. So much just happens. There was a battle and an Irid showed up and put the wards up for Aricia, which is great. But then he took Andarna with him. Then Mira and Brennan start arguing about the fact that they took Violet to be dedicated on an isle. Mira twists the bracelet, then looks me straight in the eyes. She said the heart that beat for you or within you would do the wrong thing for the right reason, reach for unspeakable power and turn dark. Within her or for her, Brennan asks. Isn't it the same thing? Violet's at risk for turning, and her with powers like hers. Stop, Xaden says. It's not Violet, it's me. My heart beats for her. I reached for unspeakable power. I turned. I'm the dark wheeler she warned your father about. I'm surprised out of all of them, Brennan's like the most okay with that. Like, it makes me think that maybe like that writer who Taryn doesn't want to talk about was Brennan's lover. I can't believe I'm saying this, but this book kind of makes me like Dane. Enough for me to ship him with Sloane. It's such a mirror to Xaden and Violet where like she blames him for her brother's death. He's her wing leader. They are in this like enemies to lovers, dislike to lovers beginning portion. Mira was captured by the Venom. And so they're trying to debate what to do, and Sloane gets pissed. Goes, Sloane charges. I nearly jump over the table, but Dane gets there first, hooking his arm around her waist and hauling her back as she swings. The second he sets her on her feet, those fists are aimed in his direction, and I wince as he lets two make contact before trapping her wrist and leaning in low. Whatever he says must register because she gives a curt nod, then retorts with a glare and walks back into formation. He's down bad. Yeah. Xaden does not play about his girl. Like, every single line from this man is just a reminder to Violet that they are equals. Past the breakup stage, you are with me for the rest of my life. Cadets belong in formation, not battle planning. My spine stiffens and my hands grip the edge of the table. She stands at my side. Xaden's voice drops into a lethally calm wing leader tone, and he places his warm hand over mine. Remember that. I love him so much. No! Did she just kill Mira? Okay, I fully want them to be together. Sloane is trying to give Brennan enough power to save Mira, and Dane is like coaching her. And Dane goes, eyes here, pull from the excess you feel in me and push in the deficit in him. You're not a weapon of destruction, you're not Venom, you're the artery power chooses to flow through. Your life. I'm going to hurt you. Gods don't I know it, he nods. But you're not gonna kill me, no matter how badly you want to. Now do it. He's already down bad for her. That is the equation. The man's gotta want it more. He's gotta yearn. That's the formula right there. We're getting so many different points of view. I did not expect that. It's so sad. Quinn says to tell her girlfriend that she loves her. And Quinn uses her last breath to say, tell him how you feel, referring to Garrick. We made it a good one. And then she's gone. Oh my god. Oh my god, Riorson, you suck. No. That makes me so sad. Violet thinks they're all gonna die and she says, you have been the gift of my life. Stephanie says, why serve a god when you could be one? Only one person can say a line like that, and that is Aelin Ashford Galathinius, and you are not her. Oh my god. Oh, I fucking knew it. Oh, I knew it. Oh my god. I knew it. Oh my god, I knew Imogen was gonna take something from her. They're married? Shut the fuck up. No. What the fuck? What happened in those 12 hours? I have to go. It's been a couple of days and I have since collected myself enough to give you guys a wrap-up review of what I thought of ONYX Storm. In case it wasn't glaringly obvious, I did give this book 5 stars. I truly did not think that the romance between Xaden and Violet could get any better, but this book proved me wrong. I did not know that I needed down bad lover boy Xaden, and I will never stop thinking about this man and the way that he loved Violet so much. This for me was peak romantasy. It was such a good blend of the two, and I think that it was heightened by the fact that Xaden knew that he was going to be turning Venin. He made Violet very clear about how he felt about her through his entire book because he was trying to kind of make peace with the fact that he was going to be not himself anymore, which is tragic. Now, what do I think is going to happen? Based on the end of the book, and by the way, I zoomed through the end of the book because I had to go to dinner, and I came back after dinner and I spent hours rereading the last few chapters and highlighting and underlining everything and anything that I thought would be important. I have a lot of theories as to what is going on because when the book ends, Violet, and therefore the reader, is incredibly confused because Violet has had her memory erased. Based on Imogen's wording, Violet herself asked Imogen to wipe her memory of the last 12 hours. And then at the end of the book, they say that there are a bunch of riders missing, notably Garrick. So Garrick is gone. There's 3 others that are missing. We don't really know who's missing, and we also don't know where they went, but I have some theories on that. We know that one of the other missing riders is also newly Venin, that one of the core members has become Venin with Xaden, because when he's confronting Berwin, who is actually not dead, Xaden refers to him as his new brother. It's someone who already knew that Xaden was Venin, because Xaden says, how could he do this after watching me struggle for the last 5 months? So it has to be someone that didn't find out recently and someone who is close to Xaden. I think it is either A, Bodhi, or B, Brennan. The first reason that I think it's Bodhi is because him turning Venin means that Tyrandor is in danger. They kept saying throughout the book, you know, Xaden was trying to prepare for him being full Venin, and he was like, you have to stay alive because Tyrandor needs someone. You are my last living relative. And Xaden and Violet get shotgun married. She is now the Duchess of Tyrandor. So that's one reason why I think it might be Bodhi. The second reason I think it might be him is because I think it was Imogen's chapter. She looks over and she sees him on his hands and knees retching. That could have been him reaching for the magic within the earth, just like Xaden was. And I also think this is another reason that I think he might have turned Venin. When he and Violet were fighting Theophany, whatever the fuck her name is, Stephanie, Bodhi tries to counteract her and it doesn't work. Violet goes to him, your magic will not counteract their magic. It is not the same. I think that maybe Bodhi realized that he would have a better chance of fighting the Venin if he could make himself Venin, and therefore his signet would work against theirs. The second person who I think could be the new brother is Brennan. I think this could be a double entendre. Obviously, now that him and Violet are married, this is his actual brother now, his brother-in-law. I also think that maybe Brennan is hiding some secrets of his own. When Mira found out Xaden was a Venin, she freaked out. She was pissed. Brennan was not angry at all. He came to Violet and said, kind of sympathetic, like, I'm sorry, I can't mend him. I know it implies that Brennan just found out, but we don't know actually how long Brennan knew. And I think it has to do with the fact that he was revived by a Venin. Now, the reason that I don't think it is Garrick, he says to Imogen, if I walked, he's a distance walker, if he opened the door and traveled to another place, he wouldn't have any energy to get back. Now, this makes me think that Garrick decided to go somewhere. And I think this is further evidence because at the end of the book, 6 eggs are missing. And earlier in the book, they had gone to the Isle of Umbriel. The queen had said to her, that was my deal with the last revolution. I wanted eggs and they broke that deal. You can come back to me when you're more desperate. And I think they're more desperate now. I think that Garrick was the one to take the eggs, either with Xaden or by himself, over to that isle, because I think maybe Xaden and Violet came to the conclusion that there was something else that Isle could do for them. Another thing that I think proves that Garrick was the one to take the eggs, they were on the Isle of Zinal, I think is how you say it, the god of luck, and they got all those gifts. Garrick got a steel bucket. That brings me to my next point, which I think that every single gift that they received is going to be used in some manner in the next book. I think that their gifts will have some negative consequences, but will ultimately lead to the greater good of their cause. If you are willing to play and accept whatever gift the god of luck presents you with, she lifts a finger, without complaint, then you will be granted entrance to our city where our queen awaits. If you do not accept that luck determines your fate, that Zinal may gift you with great fortune or take it, we cannot ally ourselves with you. We do not accept those who do not adjust their sails in a storm. This is what's really important to me. Violet describes looking left, then right, I meet the eyes of every person on our squad, starting with Traeger. One by one, they nod, ending with Mira on the right. I think that that determines the order in which the gifts are going to be used, because Traeger, although he was the last one to draw, he was the first one to be killed and subsequently used the gift that they got him. Because he died, they were able to secure an alliance for Navarre. They were able to find the Irids because they stopped on a random island in order to burn his body with his griffin. Mira is the first one to get her gift. Zinal gifts you wine. She shows us the painted wine bottle, then rotates it for the crowd as the men translate. Thank you, Mira says as the woman hands it to her. I'm going to fucking need this, she says with a fake smile, then falls back into line as the woman hurries to her seat. Now, I know Mira said it sarcastically, but I think that is foreshadowing in the fact that she is actually going to need that wine. I have a couple theories. I think maybe it could be poisoned in some way, or I also think that it could be important to someone. There's a lot of people who collect things around the Isles. Next is Marin. She receives 2 orange tunics from a short, smiling man with a shiny, bald head. I think that the fact that they're orange tunics is really distinct. You don't see a lot of like very bright colored outfits in these worlds. Maybe there's a specific group out there who has that uniform, and therefore this will help 2 of the quest squad members blend in eventually. The other thing, I think Marin has saved her 2 younger brothers, and maybe these could be for them in some aspect. Dane's card reveals a hand, and when he offers his to the woman who walks over to him, she slaps him across the face so hard his head turns in our direction. I do think that because Dane is someone who reads memories off of touching, I think maybe in that moment he got a snapshot of something. Maybe it seems innocuous at the time, but eventually he will understand why he saw that memory and they can utilize it later on. Garrick, here he is receiving a rusted steel bucket. It's 1 sentence. He's like the only one in that entire group that has one sentence to his name. Everyone else gets more exposition than he does. Eric receives a fractured hand mirror that immediately cuts his thumb when the man hands it to him top first. We find out by the end of the book that Eric is a precog. I wonder if his precognition is driven by objects. Like Dane is very tactile, like he has to touch someone in order to gain that access. So I'm wondering if Eric has to touch something in order to see what will happen with it. So I'm thinking maybe this was indicative of his signet. My heart pounds like I'm on the mat as Xaden chooses his card. He's given an empty glass box. Violet receives a compass. Extending his hand slightly, he offers me a black compass on a dark chain. I glance down as I take it and notice that the needle doesn't point anywhere near north. I think this part is really, really important. Now, what does he put inside that glass box? The blade of Aricia. Violet notices that the box, there's the blade, the little gemstone is missing. And what do we find out at the end of that book? That gemstone was turned into an engagement ring. I think that it's important to note that it's a glass box, and I think it represents the fact that Xaden's soul is emptying. But more importantly, I feel like it's honestly something of like a magical object that can turn other things into holding specific things. The only part of him that is left is the one that Violet gave to him when she says, I love you. He felt a silken thread go into his soul and keep a little bit of him there. Stay with me now. Gives her the engagement ring with a note that says, don't look for me, it's yours now. I don't think he's saying Tyrandor, because the whole time they're saying her, she. What I think he means by it is his soul. Now, I think they went to the Temple of Dun to get married, but I also think they did it for multiple reasons, because there's a little tiny section at the top of one of the chapters that says, if you forsake Dun and you go through the temple, your soul will be cleaved from you. Now, I think what they were doing was that they wanted to cleave Xaden's soul and put it inside her engagement ring. And I think the reason they were able to do that was because the jewel was put in the box. Violet gets this broken compass. Now, the reason that I thought about all of this is because Larry Reeds, who I love, I follow her on TikTok and on YouTube, she talked about the fact that she thinks the compass will be used to find Xaden. She realizes that the needle doesn't point anywhere near north, and I think it's because it points to Xaden. Then the next person who gets a gift is Riddick. Instead, the man clasps both sides of Riddick's face and smacks a loud kiss onto each of his cheeks. I think that that was actually a sign that Riddick is blessed by Zinal, and I think a good example of this was in the chapter before this, he gets a knife thrown at him. Instead of it actually hurting him like Violet thinks, it just went right through his clothes. Him getting kissed twice on the cheek was to reaffirm that, and for him to realize it later down the line that he is God blessed. Kat is given a gold necklace with a dangling ruby the size of a thumb. I'm not really sure what that has to do with anything. Then the best gift there is, the claw. My heart jumps into my throat as a bear of a man marches forward from the right, huge fist swinging by his side. He stops in front of Drake, then reaches into the front pocket of his tunic and takes out a mewling kitten. I love Broccoli. I would die for Broccoli. The more unhinged part of me wants it to be like a Goose situation from Captain Marvel where there's a fucking monster inside. I think that would be hilarious. I do think it more so has to do with the kitten's claws. They don't even refer to it as like an animal. They call it the claw. And that leads me to the end of the story, which is how Violet and Xaden are gonna come back together. Xaden is losing pieces of his soul. That's what happens when you turn Venom. I think an important quote that is said by the Irids, they trade their souls, surely they can get it back. And Darna retorts, it is not a trade, the female lectures. The soul is not kept by the earth, as dark wielders steal its magic. The power exchange kills the soul one piece at a time, and death has no cure. I think that there is a reason that at the last second, when he was about to lose the final piece of his soul, Violet was able to stop him. I love you. Violet's voice cracks the cold, and a silken thread of warmth wedges itself in the opening before it seals shut, locking it into place. No. Wait. I grab for that thread with desperate hands, clawing to keep her as more of my pieces are blown away, lost to the void. She is warmth and light and air and love. I love her. That is the emotion I cling to, the fire of pure power burning at the feeling's edges, and I know if I take it any further, it will be the next and final piece to float away. I don't believe that Rebecca Yarros is gonna do the thing where like love is the answer. I just think that because they are in love with each other, this specific circumstance works like this. I think that Violet is actually blessed by Malik. I think that Malik is connected to Violet in a bigger way than we were led to believe in this book because of a couple of reasons. There is a part in the book where we find out why Violet's hair is silver, and it's because she was dedicated by her father to Dunn. Mira, Brennan, and Violet all fight about this. Brennan is like, no way that mom and dad would do that. Dad thought you were perfect, and mom was not temple-minded, so she didn't believe in that type of stuff. And it's also revealed Violet's mother did not know that she was going to be dedicated. When Eric gives Violet the note that the priestess gave to him, I think this piece is so important. A gift from one servant of Dunn to another. I must warn you, only those touched by the gods should wield their wrath. I will pray to her that she need not use it to avoid reacquainting herself with the other who curries her favor. Her path is still not set. I believe that the first her, it's a capital H, so she's referring to Dunn in that sense. But the next her is referring to Violet. So it says she need not use it to avoid reacquainting herself with the other who curries her favor. Because there's another god who wants Violet and who blessed Violet. I hope she does not use it to avoid death, is what I think the priestess is saying. Another good point of evidence I would say is in Iron Flame, when we have the scene where Violet is being tortured and Liam is sent there. And actually they talk about Malik. Or maybe Malik sent me as a kindness, and Violet thinks to herself, Malik doesn't do kindness, nor does he allow souls to wander about. The whole time in Onyx Storm, they're talking about how the soul is dying in pieces and how, you know, it's being ripped apart. And I wonder how Malik feels about that. I don't think the god of death and souls would take too kindly to this venonism, taking the souls that are supposed to go to him. So Xaden makes the final attempt to draw from the earth in order to save everyone. But right before he gets rid of his soul, Violet says, I love you. I think that Violet has the capability to basically keep pieces of people's souls. And I think that is in turn because she is blessed by Malik. Or because Malik wants to start fighting back against the Venom. That is just my far-fetched theory. I love how the gods and goddesses are playing more into this story. And I would love to see how that plays out with the dragons. Even Taryn says, like, we don't mess around with your puny gods. Like, we don't care about that. I would love to see how Taryn takes to the gods trying to meddle about in Violet's life. And it's kind of giving me Throne of Glass vibes, where like Aelin was a chess piece. My main conclusion is that this is one of the best fantasy series I've ever read, if not the best. This book is amazing. I really cannot recommend this series enough. If you read it, please let me know what your thoughts are, your theories, your conspiracies. Like, I'd love to hear about it, especially since we probably have a good while ahead before we get the next book. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to wait for so long. I think my next plan, because I didn't reread the series before I read this, I have another channel. It's a vlog channel where I do more like relaxed reading content and just kind of vloggy style stuff. So if you want to follow it, I'll link it down below. I think my plan is to go back and reread all 3 books, heavily annotate and highlight foreshadowing, the characters, the quotes, everything, because literally at the end of this book, I just underlined and highlighted so much shit. So if you have any specific lines or like different ideas that you want me to annotate and look out for, please comment them down below. I'll absolutely do that. I'm so happy I read this. Please read it for yourself if you haven't. Read the whole series and tell me how much you love it. Or if you didn't love it, tell me why. I'd still love to hear your opinion. Never again can I say never have I ever read Onyx Storm. I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye. I have 1 page left. Bye.
The whole book?
Yes.
You're gonna cry?
I am already crying.